They have written their vows, and I know if I just do this, they should.
Okay. If you would have asked me 9 years ago if I would be standing here in front of you, I absolutely would have said yes. I've known since the day that I met you that you were always going to be a part of my life. Over these last 9 years, I have seen you in countless lights, and each one I have loved you stronger. You never cease to amaze me with your love, even on days when I truly don't deserve your grace. You have continuously met me with nothing but patience and kindness. You've taught me how to really love another person. You showed me what it means to be a team. Before you, I saw only in myself, and I was comfortable enough with that I never tried anything harder. You showed me what it means to go outside of my comfort zone. You stood next to me in every decision I've ever made, even if you weren't thrilled about them. For that and more, I can never thank you enough for being the man that you are. But I can promise that I can spend the rest of my life trying to. I promise to always respect you, trust you, and even on those hard days, to always have patience. I vow to love you for exactly who you are, to accept you completely, but also to grow with you in new chapters of our life together. I also vow to still be myself, to still annoy you sometimes, and to always be a little bit weird, because after all, that is who you fell in love with. Lastly, I vow to always choose you. In every life, my soul knows yours, and I promise I will always find you. No. This is when I cry.
Oh no, I thought mine was good. That was pretty legit. All right, I'll hold it. All right, hi everybody. Thanks for coming to Jamaica. I'm doing mine a little unconventional here. I'm going to tell you a story. About a month ago, I was drafting an email with our guest list, and I was scrolling through names, and one thing stood out to me. I'm going through the list, and it read Carmonic, 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 Brown, Hattersley, Hattersley, Porter, Porter, and it went on like that. And when I finally got to the end of the list, I realized I was the only Brown. Now, I know that I have family here, but on paper, listed in black and white, I stood alone. And that kind of got to me a little bit. I don't talk about my dad much, but in that moment, it was impossible to miss his obvious absence from that list. And I started thinking, what would he say if he could see me now? I've made mistakes. I've disrespected my family, my friends, and my name more times than I can count. But then you showed up. And you made me want to change myself. Our friends here know our story, and Maria and I have gone back and forth 1,000 times trying to figure out a way to explain how we got from where we were to here in a way that made sense and didn't sound terrible. We never settled on anything, so this is the official version I'm telling, and surprise! I wasn't a good guy. I really wasn't. When we first met, I was the young college frat boy, and when we were just hanging out before we ever got together, I usually ended up doing or saying something stupid that was disrespectful to her in one way or another. After about a year of that, he got to the point where even some of our friends were trying to tell her, give up. He's not going to change. Move on. Don't do this to yourself. And despite all that, she was still there. I remember when I worked on the gas rigs, I ended up going to a football game with a bunch of these guys. And turns out a guy my size shouldn't be a running back, and I broke my leg. And I couldn't work for a while. It got to the point where my landlord sent me an email saying, like, hey, you should go out and check your mailbox. We have notice of a suit against you for eviction and money's owed. And I hit a fun point. That part where you got to figure out, do you want to be proud or do you want to do what you got to do? So I went to my friends on my hands and knees begging. And As I knew they couldn't because I was asking a lot. After a humbling couple of hours, I was nowhere. And I was texting her during the whole thing. And no, I wasn't asking for help, wasn't asking for money, nothing. I was just venting about my situation that I got myself in. And she listened, and when it was all said and done, you said almost verbatim, I forgot. That's what happens if you go on a tangent. Almost verbatim, I just got my refund check. Promised me to pay me back and it's yours. And I think it was in that moment, somewhere in my deep, stubborn self, I knew that this was going to happen. But I'm stubborn and I make dumb mistakes. So, finally, one day, almost a year later, we went out to the bar together with some friends. And I left early, wasn't really feeling the vibe. And I went back to the house. A little while later, I got the text message from her. The one text no guy ever wants to hear from a woman. Can I ask you a question? And I sat there staring at my phone for like 10 minutes. Yeah, what's up? And she said, why aren't we together? Nothing would change. We spend all our time together already. We both have our own places, so you can still get your own place. I deserve an answer. Why? And I sat there for a while, and I couldn't think of a reason. Every time she'd ever ask me that question, I came up with some excuse, some stupid reason to hold her off just at arm's length. And this day I came up empty. So I finally messaged her back, like, you know what? I got nothing. Let's do it. Check your Facebook, because it's not Facebook official, it's not real. Check your Facebook, you got the relationship request on there, let's give it a shot and see what happens. And that was, according to her, 7 years ago. Skip forward a page. Since that day, I've tried to be better. Where other people have watched me screw up and ignored my stupidity, you've checked me. You've got that soul-piercing gaze that just makes me stop whatever I'm doing and check myself. Whenever I screw up or I'm saying or doing something stupid, you don't tell me how I'm wrong. You make me learn for myself. That way that lesson sticks, and hopefully I don't make the same mistake again. And whenever I earn your praise, that one comment from you lifts me through the air for days, and I want to work harder to hear it again. And that is exactly what my dad would do. He's still here, and he's still teaching me. He's just doing it through you. So when I was scrolling through that guest list, reading off the names, counting that one Brown, I had that realization. I'm coming to Jamaica with one Brown. Damn it, I get to go home with two.
Yay, man.
And that's awesome. So, out of all this whole deal, I'm not just getting you. I'm also getting added to another family. So, if I say something to you, well, sashay. Sashay over here. Bobby, you've trusted me with your princess. And that means more to me than you could ever know. So I promise to always keep and treat her like the queen you raised her to be.
Thank you.
Nancy, you've given me your baby girl, and I promise to keep her happy and make sure that every day she smiles just a little bit more than she did the day before. And Ryan, you've given me your baby sister, and I know what that's like. Overprotective, a little hesitant on some things, and she may or may not have threatened me with violence from you once or twice in college. So to you, I promise to love and always treat her with the dignity and respect that she deserves.
Well, welcome to our family, Kevin.
Thank you. And you. Despite everything we've been through, all the twists and turns our crazy story has, there's you. It's always been you. So to you, I promise to do something I hate to do and have never done before. I promise to run. If you're ever hurting, I'll run to you. If you're ever scared, I'll run with you. And if you ever fall, I'll pick you up and I'll run for you. There's a lot more I want to say, but it's hot. And I really couldn't think of ways to word it. So we'll just close out nice and simple. I've loved you since before I was smart enough to know it. I'll love you until the day the sun dies. When that comes, I'm going to love you in the dark.
You gotta follow that up now.
Listen to reading from Captain Mandoti. Love is a temporary magnet. It erupts like volcanoes and then subsides. And when it subsides, you have to make a decision. You have to work out whether your roots have so intertwined together that it is inconceivable that you should ever part. Because that is what love is. Love is not breathlessness. It is not excitement. It is not the promulgation of eternal passion. That is just being in love, which any fool can do. Love itself is what is left over when being in love has burnt away. And that is both an art and a fortunate accident. Those who truly love have roots that grow together underground. And when all the pretty blossoms have fallen from their branches, they find that they are one tree and not two. And this is what we have just experienced in your life, and for which we are grateful. I now invite the person to the room. As you both look at these rings, you will notice they have no end, similar to the endless commitment you make today. But these rings also sparkle with diamond and gold and other material, reminding us, Kevin and Maria, that there will be fire in your life. There will be tests and challenges. But like these rings, we pray that you will withstand the challenging times, and you will be a shining example to others. Roots intertwined and lives that have
I give you this ring as a symbol of our love.
I give you this ring. It's a symbol of our love. Nobody heard that.
And mine is a privilege as a marriage officer here in the island of Jamaica to pronounce you Mr. and Mrs. Brown. Now, Kevin, I have very little doubt that you have kissed Mr. Bonnet before, but I'm sure you have never kissed Mrs. Maria Brown before. Give the camera something to smile about.